Alright. I think we're live. Let me know in chat if we are live and doing a testing 1, 2, 3. Welcome to the Christmas Eve Tech Yes City live stream where we're going to be breaking down all the news you want to hear in the land of PC, whether it's mixing in the financial details or if it's just checking out some news like we got up here with the first story. And that is a cryptocurrency miner, Core Scientific. They've filed for bankruptcy. Now, some people in chat earlier, just as we were preparing for the live stream, they're like, Brian, they're focusing on ASICs. But here's the kicker, right? Here's the kicker. So, massive bankruptcy going through here. We'll go over the details first, and then we'll get into a core detail on their website that we should not miss. And also, get comfortable. We've got the Jarjar mug here, right here. Jarjar is in chat as well, joining you guys, and get comfortable and come along and have a chat, get relaxed, and let's get on with these details. So here it is here. They suffered a net loss of $435 million for 3 months ending September 30th in this year, and they had $4 million in liquidity at the time of the bankruptcy filing, meaning their assets were overpriced. They had these fake balance sheets, and all they had was $4 million in actual cash. So they filed for bankruptcy. Basically, the creditors now are going to come into this company and say, look, what can we sell to get our money back? And even though they're like, yeah, we've filed for bankruptcy, business is running as usual. Well, not until the creditors come in and take it. But if we go to their website, right, we've got the hardware hosted here. Now, if we look here, pay attention to this, Nvidia. So this company, even though they might be buying up Bitmain and Silicon ASIC miners and all this other stuff, they've got Nvidia here. So they're going to have a heap of Nvidia cards that will be dumped on the market once the creditors get their hands on the goods. So that's actually a big detail there with Core Scientific. So that means once the creditors get these GPUs, they're going to be like, well, what can we sell them for? And so they just dump them wherever it goes. They'll probably go in auctions and things like that, but then whoever picks them up in mass will just clean them up, turn them around and flip them on eBay. So you can expect a lot of these Nvidia GPUs especially to hit the market in the next coming months with this big bankruptcy coming on. That would be my take on this Core Scientific. Now, if we look at crypto, it is in a land of just complete calamity right now. And you know, last year we were talking about this. Actually, go back to Christmas live stream last year. We were talking about, hey, you got to be careful with crypto. And people were like, calling Brian, crypto's going up forever. You don't understand. It's just a dip. It's just a dip on the dip. And it's going to go back up straight where it was. Unfortunately, I'd say some of those people that were saying that may have lost a lot of money. I feel sorry for you, brother, but the warning signs were there. So these warning signs were just plastered everywhere. Now, we got our cheat sheet as well, which this cheat sheet, we'll pull up the cheat sheet for you guys on the live stream here because this one's super important because where the Federal Reserve is at a real crucial junction point here. And this is that cheat sheet I was telling you about with the Central Bank of America selling down their assets. And what they got here is they've reached this like level where they're tightening. They are reducing their balance sheet. They are selling off assets and taking cash out of the market. But if we look at this trend right here, if we go back to here, and sort of widen this out a little bit, we can see something is actually pretty scary, right? If you were to draw just before all the mad money printing and all the crazy stuff happened, see this line here? It's just if we trace that line where my mouse is, not where the actual line above it is, it's pretty much hitting right where we are now. So we're at a crucial point where either something I feel is going to break heavily in the markets, whether a major bank, a commercial bank goes bankrupt, kind of like Lehman back in 2008, or they start the printers up in mass again. But this line here tells me that something has reached the end right here. So this is the point of no return right now. So you're going to see 2023 is just going to be a wild ride. If you thought 2022 was a wild ride, 2023 is going to be even more wild. I mean, even Jarjar's handle might fall off because he's so excited about the deals that could be coming up. And so that's the biggest piece of news right now. This big crypto miner went bust. There's also associated with these other people like I think it's a Sam Bankman-Fried or something. The guy said he had 100 $1,000 to his name, then they post up 250 million bail and he's flying business class. I mean, the system is really rigged against the little guy right now. It's actually really sad. So don't worry, I'm reporting on the front lines here, guys. I'm with the little guy because I am the little guy myself. I'm just a one-man band here at Tech Yes City, posting videos up and trying to warn people and say, hey, if you haven't already, might want to think about maybe getting a bit of cash out of the bank too, because you don't know if you're at that bank that collapses. Sure, the government says they got your back for, I think it's $100,000 they'll guarantee, but they can't cover. I think they did the math and they can't cover all these deposits. There's no way. I think they got like 1% capacity to cover that. So there could be a lot of financial instability in 2023. So what you want to do you want to have a bit of cash, possibly a bit of silver as well, because if this right here, this roller coaster, if this printer turns back on, metals are going to be the new Bitcoin, so to speak. People won't be really buying Bitcoin, they'll be buying metals because they're actual real assets. So need to have a bit of a sip out of Jarjar. So get comfortable in chat as well. Phil asks, do we have daylight savings here in Australia and Queensland? So I'm from Queensland in Australia, and actually no, we don't do daylight savings up here. So I actually prefer having no daylight savings because I don't have to adjust my times on my clocks or anything like that, just running with 1 hour. As well as Japan being 1 hour behind, it's easy for me to calculate the times in Japan. I mean, if it was daylight savings, I'd be like, oh, we're 2 hours behind now. So, but if we go over to eBay, there's people talking about GPU prices going up. And what I'm seeing here locally with GPU prices, so we'll segue into the next part, which I feel there's going to be more crypto GPUs coming on the market, just getting flooded after that bankruptcy, after the financial conditions tighten, after as well, a lot of crypto miners out there as well. They got a lot of self-sustaining power. But if they're making no money on their crypto, they're going to get to the stage, well, they're going to say to themselves, well, I'm just burning out this hardware. I'm not even going to get my money back by the time this crypto GPU goes south. So then they'll start selling as well. So there's a lot of pressures out there still on the selling side. Don't worry about that. As well as the consumer as well, being eaten up by 7% inflation. That's really big. As well as the discretionary income on a lot of people on variable rate mortgages at 4.5%. I think it's 4.5% right now. Interest rates are huge. Well, at least they've been a lot bigger or a lot larger than they've ever been in the past 10 years. So you've got that factor as well going on. So it basically leads to this crunch right now where prices are getting cheaper. So don't be fooled by, oh, you know, Nvidia is artificially limiting supply. Well, Nvidia can't stop the crypto miners from selling their GPUs. So the used market is going to be where it is at, brothers. And so what we're looking at here is GTX 1660 Supers. This was a really popular one. I mean, we're seeing these are still selling around $100. If you've got a bit of patience and you don't mind a little cooler, I mean, usually the custom model's going for $20 more, but you can get that little single fan undervolted, and that's going to do a fine job at gaming at 1080p. So that's $100. That's a bargain right now if you're into used GPUs. We're looking at the RX 6600, as always, pretty much my favorite GPU of 2022. Absolutely incredible value for money. I recently did a build. We got one for around 100 USD. Did a build on the channel here with triple monitor surround, and it was great with the Ryzen 5 1600. So don't be afraid as well to mix and match parts that are not usually matched together, right? I usually wouldn't match a Ryzen 5 1600 with an RX 6600. It's a little bit of a CPU bottleneck there, but when we got 3 monitors, we're starting to put a lot more strain on the GPU. And that suddenly equals pegged GPU at 100%, which means we're getting all that value out of those used bargains. So this is an awesome GPU for right now, if you're in the market for a really cheap GPU. And we've also got Marco in chat as well, and Mike Bruswine. He's sent us some data over as well. So Mark is telling us as well that on the used market right now, Turing is currently selling the best. So that's the RTX 2000 series. So I think they got 7 of 10 of the top 10 GPUs right now being moved are Turing. So this includes the GTX 1660 Super, as we spoke about before. But there is something weird, and I will pull this up before we move on. I heard these stories about on the Steam surveys, right? The GTX 1650 coming out as #1 on these surveys. But these surveys are all over the place. I literally kid you not. When I was looking at the numbers here before, I was seeing these numbers and I couldn't, like, the GTX 1060 had dropped 2% in 1 month. And that's just an insane number and metric to see, where I don't know what happened here. We got a change percent of change this month. Let's sort this. So we get the proper stats here. Oh, okay. Steam's sort of taken it. I had it up here, man. What happened to the Steam surveys? Always when you're ready to go live, it starts doing a poop on you. It's like, okay, what happened to Steam surveys? They're just trolling me now. Yeah, like Steam's just straight up trolling me. Okay, thanks Steam. It had all like it had it from the first ranking to the last ranking. Anyhow, we'll see if we can find the 1060 on here. Okay, GTX 1060. Let's see where this was just a really odd number that I don't know what's going on with these Steam servers. So down, so DirectX 12 GPUs, here it is here, down almost 2% in 1 month. This just makes no sense when you're going from October to November. I don't think, like, when you look at the numbers, right, I don't think 25% of people owning a GTX 1060 decided to quickly pack it up in October and say, hey guys, I don't want my GTX 1060 rig anymore. That's a really odd number. So I think with Steam surveys, this could point to some sort of, I guess, unreliability in the reporting. So, I mean, it's same with an RTX 2060. I know that's a really good GPU, and I know a lot of people wouldn't, especially, again, close to like 20% of those users wouldn't just pack up shop in 1 month. So perhaps there are Steam surveys that are tied in with Windows, maybe, and there's some sort of telemetry going on there where the miners are packing up shop, because the 1650 would make sense. No crypto miner is using a GTX 1650 for mining. I don't know any one of them that is using that graphics card for mining. But the GTX 1060 6GB, the RTX 2060, these are all popular cards that were used by miners, especially the RTX 3060. Same sort of deal, except even on a worse scale. So if you guys know in chat what's going on there with the Steam surveys and why the numbers are sort of so off, that'd be great to know with that one, because yeah, it seems a little bit weird, especially with the 3060 on top of everything, right? Maybe people did decide in 1 month to go sell all their 1060s, but I don't think someone having an RTX 3060 would just say, all right guys, time to call it quits on this brand new RTX 3060, and there's no new card coming out at that price point. So anyway, I think it's got a lot to do with crypto miners shutting off mining rigs, and that would make a lot of sense, and somehow Steam reports that and with those sales. So yeah, there's the next piece of news. But looking at used GPUs right now, guys, you have a great time to buy used GPUs. In fact, locally here, what I'm seeing locally with used graphics cards is that they are literally just sitting there, even at really good prices. I saw an RTX 3060 Ti going for around $230, and it's been up there for a week. Now, you could probably even pop in a lower offer and get it for $210. So I'll probably be, the next parts hunt is going to be really good, just like the last one we did here in Australia, because these GPU deals are just everywhere to be found. So what we've got here now is used RTX 3060 Ti's popping up. And you can see here, they're going some places of the world, like in Australia, that's adjusted for USD pricing, but $320, still a little bit steep on eBay. So in America, the prices of RTX 3060 Ti's aren't looking that great. I'd be paying around $250 if I can for one, especially a used one. But I mean, hey, 300 bucks max, that's not too bad of a deal. So going through these GPUs for the rest of them, the RTX 3080s, they could be had for around 600, still a little bit too much considering the MSRP was 699. It's a generation old, but here you've got some going for 550, and around $500 would be where I would personally top out. And again, eBay fees on top of all that locally, you should be able to pick up one of these for around $500 dues, USD actually. So what would be the term for dollary dues in America? Benjamins, that's it. 500 Benjamins should get you an RTX 3080. So next up here, we've got the 6700 XT. Again, great GPU if you're buying on the used market. Heavily bought up by miners and now heavily dumped by miners. Buy it now, 200, 300 bucks. This person can't even sell it in the US. He can't even sell his 6700 XT for 300 bucks. So how's that? How's that for a little early Christmas present? So you can get one if you want an RX 6700 XT. They're going for really good prices. That would be one of my favorite picks, just analyzing these GPUs, the used GPU market for you guys live. And then of course we've got the RX 6800 XT as well. Being more of a higher echelon card, I think these prices won't be as good as the 6700 XTs, especially if you can get them for around $250. So these are looking like they're trying to sell them for around $600. I mean, that one's probably faulty right there. So yeah, really good value to be had on the used market, as long as you know what you're looking for. And as long as you know that conditions, as long as it stands. And so this is where we'll update with the financials. You guys come and join in the chat, ask questions as well. Ask any questions you want, because this live stream is all about enjoying the festive spirit of Christmas. And yeah, I'm here to, I thought maybe you guys are like listening too much now. I want more questions. I want more questions. I basically run through a heap of it, but I got asked before about the Japanese yen. Now, this is what something in the financial markets I think is going to break very soon. So we'll start going into a bit of finance talk here, guys, where this relates back to, of course, PC gaming, where if things get really bad financially, products are going to get cheaper naturally, right? Whether it's a GPU, a CPU, motherboards. We've already seen those new Ryzen 7000 series CPUs come down in price. Then people, I was predicting this actually a couple of months ago. I was like, these prices are too high based on the economic conditions, based on what's also available out there at the moment. And that's a big one. So I thought, oh, okay, so Marco asked, I thought a Benjamin was $100, so wouldn't it be 5 Benjamins? Exactly, that's right. So I'm looking for the dollary dues, is just the Aussie dollars. I'm trying to think of Benjamins is $100. Is there a slang for the $1 in the US? Let us know the slang for the $1. So that would actually, you are correct about the Benjamin being the $100 bill. So who knows, maybe they'll replace it soon with something. Like I think in the UK they replaced the face of the note there. So I can't believe a 1650 is over $200 used. What a sham PC gaming has become. Yeah, I mean, I think, see the problem, this is actually one problem we'll go into before we talk about more financials, is the 1650, I'm going to call it the most popular GPU effect, right? So people, basically a lot of, just ordinary people, their friends have a 1650 and they're like, hey man, what PC should I buy? And the guy with the 1650 basically says, hey man, he does a hey man as well. It's always obligatory to put in a hey man whenever you're having conversation. Hey man, I've got a 1650. Go buy a GTX 1650 in your next PC. So that person who wants to get their own PC is now only sold on a GTX 1650. And I don't know if there's a term for this effect, but I just call it sheep behavior. And basically it's a very strong thing in tech, and that's why the GTX 1060 was top dog for so long. And that's why the GTX 1650 as well is top dog. Despite, if you go look at reviews on the GTX 1650, it's pretty much notoriously, it's pretty much hailed as a poor value GPU, yet it's topping the charts. And this is because that effect in place. People are like, I got a GTX 1650, go buy a GTX 1650. And so then people just go buy it without even thinking. And so if you're really into it, you'll be like, well, why buy a GTX 1650 for 200 bucks when you get a 1660 Super for $100? Even if you just want to get on an Nvidia card. And then there's also the RX 6600, which just trumps both those cards any day of the week. But this is the thing, it's just like the sheep-like behavior. So that's what I put it down to when it comes down to the GTX 1650 effect. And so it doesn't matter, people just don't want to think. They're just like, hey man, I'll just go get the 1650. Yeah, why not? Why not? 1080p. The 1650 Super's a much better buy too. Why wouldn't you grab the 1650 Super? Much better performance. That's how little research is done sometimes. I mean, hey, that's why, like, look, I sell PCs all the time. And one thing when you're selling a PC is you really got to emphasize i7 and the RAM. People don't, like, half the time, people don't even care about the GPU as long as they see a large gigabyte number on the VRAM. That's why if you're actually into flipping PCs, RX 480, 8 gigabytes, and RX 470, 8 gigabyte models, they go really hard. people see the 8 gigabytes of VRAM and they're like, whoa, 8 gigabytes of VRAM? That's like comparable to the RTX 3070. That's got 8 gigabytes of VRAM. That's how some people think. And then they see your PC for cheap, and they're like, wow, this guy's whole PC is less than an RTX 3070. So anyway, there it is. That's like common, like, because one thing I do, guys, is one thing I love dealing with the PC market in general and just getting the average person over who's buying a PC. And I love relaying that information back to you guys because it's such an interesting market to be in. And I think a lot of enthusiasts get frustrated and they go in the comments like, why is the 1650 so popular? And that's why. It's basically the great divide. There's the massive divide there between the enthusiast and the normie, the tech normie. So hey, there it is. That's any other questions as well. Feel free to ask them and I'll answer them as best as I can on this Christmas Eve live streamity dummity dummity doo. That's long for live stream. Brian, that's exactly why I'm picking up the 6800 16 gigabyte. Exactly, man. That thing is loaded with 16 gigabytes of VRAM. People will think it may even be faster than the upcoming RTX 4070, right? So an RX 6800's got 16 gigabytes of RAM. Why do I even need to get a 7900 XT as well? Well, that's got 20 gigabytes of RAM. So it's just a funny market, right? It's funny. It's a funny market, ladies and gentlemen. Funny market. But anyway, we'll get on to some financial news and then we'll get back to chat. So if you guys got some really good questions loaded up, then save them. We'll go on to some finance right now, where I was saying in earlier episodes here on the live streams, I was saying, also, what are you going to have for dinner? Oh, mate, I'm going to have some barbecue chicken pizzas tonight. That's what we're having. And also, back to the financial news here, is that the Bank of Japan recently announced some huge news, right? People are like, oh, it shouldn't be any shock. But what happens with the Japanese yen right now, and this is the reason I was buying it, and I'm saying I'm still buying yen. Any chance I get with free cash, I'm buying yen. Because again, I'm one of those guys that just looks at price versus value. Doesn't matter what it is, I'm looking at price versus value, period. And that's the only metric you should use when you're buying something, especially if it's an investment. Price versus value. Now look at cryptos, right? This is how I knew cryptos were absolute trash. You're paying X amount of dollars, then those dollars in the real world could buy you things. Instead, you're buying a token that does nothing. It has, like, most of the time, these cryptos have no utility. I mean, look at these doggy coins. My goodness. People were like telling me, Brian, I just bought $5,000 in doggy coins. And these are people, mind you, these are people with not a whole lot of savings. And they're telling me I threw $5,000 on a doggy coin. I'm like, oh no, please don't. Please do not do that. And I mean, if they timed it right, sure, they could have made money off the next grade of fool, but there's no utility there. And so really, they're just playing into a game where the broker makes the money on the exchange fees. And overall, there's going to be more losers than there are winners. And in fact, there may even be, in terms of if you were to put it down to per person, there'd be the people who got in early with singular entities who bought up a lot, and then they're flicking them off in small chump change to all these people buying in. So in general, is basically the early birds who probably have a lot more money and liquidity, they got rich off the little guy. So crypto was an absolute mess. Price versus value, there was just really nothing there. Even to this date, I don't know many cryptos that really have a whole lot of utility. And even then, I think they're overvalued for what they are. So, man, we've been into this crypto thing for quite a long time already. And, man, it's pretty, I don't know. Crypto only has the people's money. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. You guys are saying it. Anyway, back to the Bank of Japan. So I like the yen because what I can buy in Japan with that yen is absolutely incredible. Things are so cheap. I mean, early in the live streams, I told you guys I bought an apartment. USD wise, I think it was like $35,000 or $40,000 for a 3-bedroom apartment in Japan in a good area, right? Pretty, like, I guess any area in Japan's pretty good. And that value, you cannot get that in Australia, right? In Australia, if you want to buy in a decent area, even in a 3-bedroom apartment, you're looking at like $400,000. It's insane. So that's what I was saying. I'm buying up yen. I love the yen. And what we had here with the Japanese yen is that the Bank of Japan moved to basically push off spec. This is, make no mistake about it, the real intent of this move is to push away speculators. And basically they allowed the 10-year bonds to move up to 50 basis points, or 0.5%. And the reason they did this was because, and I feel the real reason is to try and rampen down or hamper the speculation going on against the Japanese yen, especially in the foreign exchange markets. A thing known as a carry trade. Basically, people will go on, whether it's official brokers or brokers that use, essentially create derivatives out of thin air. They'll make these contracts where they'll have 100 grand. They'll go buy up $1 million of United States dollars, short it against the yen. You got $1 million short against the yen now, and you're getting the interest differential on $1 million from that $100,000. And this is the thing where these brokers are doing this in a system that's almost unregulated, right? Because you're making this money out of thin air. These contracts, when they're created, it's money out of thin air, but that $1 million has the potential, when it comes crashing down, to be an actual $1 million bet against the short it was placed on, if that makes any sense. So when things start crashing down, if that 100 grand of liquidity can't get cashed out, what happens is you've got, essentially you've got this a debt there now on $1 million on the balance sheet that the broker then has to take the brunt, because the retail trader, he's only lost $100,000. And a very dangerous effect. And I've seen that happen in 2008, where the Australian dollar versus the yen went from like 105 yen per 1 Aussie dollar all the way down to like 50, I think. It was extremely low, 58 or 57. So anyway, you guys are loving the content. You're listening in. Now, when this effect starts properly happening, right, just a 0.25% increase on these bonds here, with the Japanese Bank of Japan allowing the yield to go up to 0.5%, just this small amount of interest rates caused a 300 pip move on the United States dollar versus the Japanese yen. It was actually incredible to see. So I was really shocked. And what we had here, as you can see, as soon as they made the announcement, you can just see the yen, the yields pretty much instantly spiked to near 0.5%. Now the Bank of Japan probably came in and sort of controlled that a little bit to stop it from overshooting. But there you go. Basically, the yield on these bonds, people are dumping them, and the yield should be much higher. But the Bank of Japan is artificially making it so that they're lower, so interest rates don't go up. But they're sort of starting to say, well, perhaps we have to let interest rates go up because our currency, the actual fabric of Japan, is getting hammered by speculators. And you may have saw an article before with $80 trillion or some X amount of money that was out there. And people were saying there's $80 trillion of unaccounted money for. That's because all these brokers have all these bets with retail traders loading up these money with 10 to 1, 20 to 1 leverage, all these BS figures that isn't actually money. And that's what's crazy, right? Now, if you have one, this is where we get the domino effect. If you have one broker that goes down, that broker may be insured by a commercial bank. Now, if that commercial bank, the debt's then on them, they can't pay the debt. Someone's got to pay it, right? The person who's on the other side of the trade wants their money, and they're not getting their money. And so they're a creditor. So then they go to the bank and say, hey, I want my money. It comes back to someone. The bank then goes, we don't have it. And it's bankruptcy. That's the core source. And so then that bank that went bankrupt then starts to become a contagion. And so this is what 2023 is, I feel, going to spell for markets. I think there's going to be, what I was saying earlier in the year, a margin catastrophe. And when that happens, things will get very cheap, because suddenly all these high rollers that are living, I seen it on, like, my brother showed me some clip where there was some thing where people were like, I've got 100 apartments, I've got 200, bro. And it's like, yeah, how much debt do you have? And when that debt needs to get paid back, when you're in negative equity, the banks are just going to seize your assets. So it's actually really scary what can happen. So anyway, when those conditions happen, people have a lot less discretionary income, and that will basically flow on to the tech sector, and tech prices will get a lot cheaper. But the thing is, if now the central banks come and bail that out, because we've got so much printed money in a reverse course, and they lower interest rates, and this is the fine balance now too. Basically what you have now is then people are like, well, hey, interest, it costs basically no interest on my debt. I'm just going to go borrow even more money. And so you just get this effect where there's this fine line, and it's never been so more sensitive. It's never been so more sensitive than it has in the past. So when the Federal Reserve's just coming out with these jumbo rate hikes, 0.75%, I think it was the recent one was 0.5%. When you have these jumbo rate hikes happening, you don't know when that's going to spell massive calamity for the markets. And I think it's very soon, as evidenced in the just the 0.5% rate hike versus another 0.75%. So there's it's all there right in front of you. The numbers are already there. It's just a matter of time now, I think, before something massive breaks in the system. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that little spill on live stream about what's going on with Japan as well, because Japan wants to stop people on these retail markets borrowing money they don't otherwise have and making interest on it against their yen. And obviously in the process, when you short $1 million on the yen and you got 1 million people doing that, that's putting downward pressure on the yen and basically making it so cheap. And that goes against their whole economy. So Japan wants to step in. They know exactly what's going on. The people at Bank of Japan, they know exactly what's going on. And I think I read an article somewhere where the Federal Reserve, for instance, has very little yen on their balance sheet. So basically when when things reverse, they reverse so violently in favor of the yen because a lot of these places just have no Japanese yen. And so when you've got no Japanese yen to pay, you've got to buy it at whatever price it is on the market. And so that's why you can see the Japanese yen just goes whoop sometimes. Anyway, I'm on that side of the Japanese yen. I'm calling, I think there's going to be more tightening. And again, on the other side of the fence, after I've explained that part with why I'm buying Japanese yen, the other side of the fence with silver, the reason why I'm buying silver as well is because it's undervalued. Miners can't produce silver. A lot of these miners can't even produce silver at 23 bucks an ounce. So there's a flaw there. And if they start the printers up again, metals are going to be your best bet against inflation. So you sort of hedge both ways. That's the tech yes hedging on both ways. Fortunately for me, both are going up at the same time. This is insane. I never thought this would happen. I never thought the yen would start appreciating and silver would start appreciating at the same time. So, hey, there we go. Anyway, I just want you guys not to lose any more money. If you've lost money on doggy coins, if you've lost money on, FTX tokens and scam coins, there is another way where you can protect your wealth. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, got a donation here from Eternal Saber, official. That's the official, $2. Thank you, my man. What do you think a fair price on the RX 6600 XT is? Since you're donating in Aussie dollars, I saw one up here locally. It's still for sale, 200 Aussie dollars for an RX 6600 XT. It's been sitting up there for like a week on my local marketplace. I was actually going to buy it, except it's Christmas, so I'm staying at home. I went to Dreamworld yesterday with my son. That's a theme park, and I've just been having a lot of fun. So there we go. Anyway, hope that answers that question. 200 Aussie dollars. So we'll move over to a bit of Q&A, and we'll look at later on in the stream, we'll look at also the RX 7900 XT and the XTX. What's sort of going on there? I'm getting a lot of questions about this GPU. The review is upcoming as well. Don't worry about that. But we've got some questions here, some good ones. What is a good price for a 1 Z LGA 2011 V3 motherboard CPU RAM combo? Well, it all depends on the CPU. But you generally don't want to pay any more than around like 200 US for that combo, including like 32 gigabytes of RAM. That would be the max I would pay for the combo. But that said, you can get like some really high core count Xeons on the V3, and you can unlock those turbo multipliers. Did you get on the Steel Taipan? Yes, and that is one of the best rides I have been on. So there's a ride at Dreamworld called the Steel Taipan, and it was really, really good. You guys will love it. Seriously, it was actually really awesome, that ride. It's good that you know that, Marty. It's actually a lot of fun. Where are you buying yen and metals? So I'm buying metals just from the bullion dealer. You just go on the bullion dealer. There's a heap of them in Australia. It's ABC Bullion. In terms of yen, I'm just transferring at the moment on Oanda, and I use Oanda to speculate as well. And also Wise. They're the two places where you'll get pretty much mid-market rates. So yeah. Hopefully that helps you in terms of those two. In terms of PayPal, like PayPal is garbage in terms of their exchange rates. A lot of commercial banks will be absolutely trash in terms of their exchange rates. They'll have like a 5% rake, which is just, it's insane how much these banks make off the average person. So there are some much better services there in terms of like Oanda and Wise. And so there's that one. So also we got some questions here. You say miners and keep imagining people bringing silver into existence through GPUs. Hey, you could. This is the thing, right? You could, like, if you, I would say one of the I don't know if there's any cryptocurrency. I didn't partake in the recent cryptocurrency mining boom. I did in the last one, but I wonder if there was any crypto miners in 2021 that were just getting their profits, cashing out those crap coins, going down to the bullion dealer and just straight up changing it for silver. Literally, they'd be using GPUs to mine silver. That would have been epic. If there was anyone in the comments that did that, man, you're pretty ahead of the bell curve there. You're pretty like on your game. You're selling one completely overpriced piece of crap and buying something that's completely undervalued. So I think there was some people mining using GPUs to mine metals. So hopefully that answers that question, Marco. Do you think FSR 3 will be on older RDNA GPUs? I hope it is. I really do. I hope it is. Like the whole thing that bothered me was like DLSS 3. I would have loved to have seen that on RTX 3000 series GPUs at the very least, just to give people a sense of extra added on value that comes out of nowhere. Why not? I mean, people want more value. Like Nvidia, AMD. If any of you guys tune in to these live streams, which I know you guys do, give people more value in hard economic times. It's very simple. You build up great brand loyalty and you'll go forward with it. And this is the thing in the future, right? If you've built up good brand loyalty and then you've got your product that's $10 more expensive than the competitors, people are going to go buy your product. Trust me, loyalty is worth 10 bucks. So give them some technology and give them a freebie. That's what I want to see these tech companies doing, a bit of a freebie. What about the Leviathan at SeaWorld? Haven't checked that one out yet. We'll have to do some research on it. I do want to hit another theme park though before I go back to JP. What was the HP workstation that came with Xeons? Man, wasn't it the Z440 or something? The Z220, I think that's the name. The Z220s and all that stuff. All mining profits sent to pokey machines. Damn, brother. So McAllen sent he was making profit off crypto and he was putting it in the pokies. Damn, brother, that's brutal. So I guess the casino is then mining you, right? So what do you think about the RTX A2000 GPU for small form factor, low profile builds? Found one for about 250 bucks. Yeah, I saw one in Japan for pretty cheap. The viewers just advised me against it, and then looking into it further, it doesn't look like a great GPU, to be honest. The power consumption looks great, don't get me wrong. It would be a bit GPU that I would be like, I kind of want the just the gaming variant. So I mean, small form factor, sure, but you can build really good mini ITX builds that are like 7.5 liters. That's my main rig. I mean, it's got a water cooler slapped on it with zip ties, but you can get some really good value right now out of mini ITX, and I think the A2000 really isn't there. It's not one that I'd be personally going for. So that's just my opinion. When silver pumps, they will sell it and get back on the BTC train. Maybe. I mean, yeah, I tell you what, I'm waiting. If I ever get into crypto, I'll be waiting. If I ever get into crypto, I'll be waiting for something that, you know, you can actually use, that has some real world usages. at the moment. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it there. It's not that great. So anyhow, let's get on to the 7900 XTX. The bit of a story update here, right? So we got these GPUs. Remember, we made a video. As soon as I got word on this, I was telling you guys, relaying it straight away. And I was like, the XTX especially, this one's going to go up in price at least 100 USD. But now they've gone up price 200 USD, right? And they're out of stock, even at these inflated prices. So you were going to get some reference cards flow through. They were going to sell out immediately at MSRP. That's exactly what we saw. And then you were just going to be left with the $100. I heard it was a $100 price hike USD, but it looks like it's a $200 price hike. So the middlemen have to make their money. That's what I was told. The middleman needs a cut. So there you go. That's the new high-end GPU market. A similar thing is going on with the RTX 4080, but at least there's one here for only $70 above MSRP, if that's any sort of like relief from not getting too ripped off. But it's looking like there's a middleman, always got to make his cut, and the middleman's definitely saying, look, inflation's gone up, I want a bigger of a cut. So I don't know if you guys remember, partner cards, a lot of the time they used to be like $30 more expensive, $20, $30 more expensive, even for a decent one. Now it's looking like it's $200. I mean, it's excessive, these price increases. But then we go over to the 7900, just the regular XT. This is the one here. This one's still in stock, even the reference cards. I mean, what was AMD doing with this card? I really don't know what they were thinking with the XT. Oh, we'll try and confuse people by adding another X on and making it not look as desirable when we got this card that's basically the same thing, but it's $100 cheaper, right? People are going to go buy it. No, people aren't going to buy it, because once you move up into this echelon of price, people then start to take a step back and go, what am I actually buying? What's the performance of this thing? They quickly do a Google search and they see, like, for instance, people in the thumbnails holding up cards and putting them in the trash can with the XT. That ain't a good look. I mean, AMD, the XT is definitely the one to skip. The XTX the one to get, but the problem is the XTX is literally now coming in 33% higher than the XT. So if I gotta ask you guys openly, if I do my review on the XTX, should I be basing it on street pricing? Or should I be basing it on these false MSRPs that no one can get? Because I think in Australia, the cheapest you can get it for is 2,000 Aussie dollars for an XTX. So that is, I think, around 200 Aussie dollars over the MSRP. If we have a look at 2,000 AUD to USD, let's have a look here. Yeah, so that's what it costs you in Australia, right around that $1,200 plus 10% for taxes. There you go. So 1,200, maybe 1,200 USD is a more, I guess, appropriate price for this GPU. That's all I think. So, sorry, it's a little bit cut off there. You can see it there. That's how much 2,000 Aussie dollars is in current exchange rates. So, I mean, okay, I can do both. I think I'll do both, because then that says, okay, if it was $1,000, if this card was $1,000, what would I think of it versus its street price? I mean, obviously the 1,200 US dollar is going to be, just avoid this thing. I mean, especially if there's an RTX 4080 for just $60 more, that's a no-brainer. But even then, those two graphics cards, like at these price points, I just don't like either the XTX or the 4080. I think they're just really stuck in a rock and the hardest place that some GPUs have ever been in. So 9010, dude, can you spot me 100 or two? So someone asking another person in chat to spot them $100. I mean, wow, that's you guys are placing faith in each other in the chat here. So you can spot me $100 on the on the donations if you want to. I pay you back, I promise. So, but yeah, the current XTX. With the current XTX modeling at the moment, it's looking like the XT may in fact be a better buy if it remains at $900 versus what you have here with the XTX at $1,200. That's a sad reality, but of course, people want the best. People want the best from AMD, and that is currently the XTX from AMD on their side. So, but you know, the funny thing is I tried these new drivers as well, and it made no difference. The idling power consumption is still bad on high refresh rate 360 Hertz monitor. I'm hearing people in the comments are saying multi-monitors are having problems. I also had a problem. Now, this is the biggest crux for me with the 7900 XTX, right? We'll go into the biggest crux of what just being real with you guys, just straight up. This is what I don't understand is, here it is, right? If you go out and buy an X670E motherboard and a Ryzen 7000 series CPU, you have to go into the BIOS and disable the iGPU to get the new drivers working with your 7900 XTX. It's so bizarre. I was getting DX diag errors popping up on my screen when I was trying to install it with the iGPU enabled, because I think it's got RDNA 2 cores on the Ryzen 7000 series CPUs, and they use different drivers essentially. So when you try to install the same driver, it automatically defaults to the CPU first, and then it blocks out the 7900 XTX from working. So in other words, if you've got an RTX 4080, it's working better with your Ryzen, your AMD Ryzen CPU and motherboard, than it is with AMD's own graphics card. And I thought, wow, like AMD, you really just rushed the 7900 XTX to market too soon. And that shows. When you see things like that, it really does show. So, I mean, even like, and this is the thing, I've been one of AMD's biggest critics, because I like, if you look at the 7900 XTX, if anyone's got one, I think it's aesthetically, whoever made the 7900 XTX has made one of the best looking GPUs in history. It is a sleek, it is an amazing card. The build quality of it feels really good. I absolutely love what AMD's done with the 7900 XTX in terms of the reference build. And the fans aren't too loud. It's actually a pretty good cooler design. So kudos to AMD for doing that. But then on the driver front, they've really got to work things out, because it's just an absolute mess. And I mean, going into Christmas, right? If you buy one of these cards, you're going to have Christmas holidays. You want to have spend some time with your 7900 XTX, and bam, you're getting these errors popping up. So I think they just rushed that one a bit too much. So yeah, is AMD following the Intel Arc trend? I mean, yeah, I mean, Intel Arc is looking terrible though. I mean, it had Intel Arc initially had this big like, oh my God, Intel's coming out with a bang. And then suddenly, just like crypto, the air just suddenly popped. You know, it's just, I don't know if it popped or if it's just been coming out of the balloon. You know, the air's just coming out. Like, you know, you have one of those balloons and there's like some little like problem, you haven't tied it off properly and the air just keeps coming out. That's basically with Intel GPUs what's happening right now. It's kind of sad to see, because we all wanted another competitor. We're like, yeah, Intel's going to bring it to the market. I was one of those people. I was like, yeah, Intel's got this, man. Intel's coming to the market. They're going to bring some good value. Then it comes out and it's like, oh, Intel threw an air ball. You know, and everyone's looking on and like everyone's not saying anything. And it's like, oh, you know, better luck next time, Intel. You just spent a few $1 billion. And in this market, you don't have a few $1 billion to throw an airball, right? So currently Intel's throwing airballs in the GPU market, and then AMD's sort of getting there as well. They're like on course to follow Intel right behind on the free throw line and start throwing airballs too. And Nvidia's just sitting back going, well, hey, we can just charge so much money for our usage of our basketball court where you're going to hit free throws all the time. And people are like, well, I'm going to the Nvidia courtyard, right? I'm going to pay that extra price. I'm going to pay that extra money. So we got the real down low. So we got the real down low. $2 donation. Thank you, brother. My 3080 12 gigabyte idles at 98 watts with dual monitors. Yeah, if that's your whole system, that's pretty good. I think on the Ryzen 7000 series X670E test bench on idle with the 360 Hz monitor, it's going up to like 150 watts from the wall. So that's from the, is that from the wall? Is that 98 watts from the wall? It's going around 150 with the 7900 XTX on the 360 Hz. So Yeah, but you know, you guys are saying, right, in the comments, you guys are saying things have to stop being so rushed, and that is so true, because this time around, AMD is going to find out the hard way that rushing a product is not good. Like, look, in good economic times, I would say arguably it could be a sign of, okay, people are happy every other part of their life, and there's going to be no problem, right? Oh yeah, this will get better in a couple of months. But right now, people are having a lot of problems, right? They probably, I'd say a lot of people are turning to PC gaming just to get a break, right? And then they buy this brand new GPU expecting to turn it on, have absolutely no problems whatsoever. And then they're getting error messages popping up. Like, and then suddenly that problem is just blown out of proportion. And then AMD becomes this new massive target, and then the product gets returned. People are just really salty. So in these economic times, you just cannot mess things up. That's all I'm going to say. And like AMD with their drivers, it's mainly the drivers. It's looking like it's the drivers right now with the 7900 XTX, at least from my testing. Because I'm seeing people say, oh, there's all these, I'm seeing... Okay. Volume down, arigato. Thank you. My little boy's just playing some Pokemon. He's just like he's turning up the Pokemon and is like, yep, sweet. So, Doshta? Live stream, Dale. You want to come and say hello? No? Oh, come on, man. Everyone wants to see you. Everyone wants to see little B. Yeah, surely get him on. That's what I mean. Everyone wants to see you, dude. You want to come say hello on the live stream? Yeah, come say hello. Yeah, just got my little boy here. We're getting ready, guys. You get a bit of an interlude here. We'll get him on the big screen as well. Come and say hello. There's the camera there. So you just say hello.
Hello.
Say hello, everybody. Yeah, that's good. All right, dude. Yeah, you having fun? Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Do you want some headphones? You want some headphones?
テレビにつなげられないでしょ。
多分つなげる。
Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay.
All right, give me a big kiss. All right, love you, dude. All right, cool, man. He's all sorted. All right, I won't be too long, brother. And then we'll play some Mario Kart, okay? All right, we're gonna play some Mario Kart. That's young tech, yes, brothers. So there he is. We'll play some Mario Kart, and then I'm actually getting pretty. We've actually meted out Mario Kart, so I'll quickly take some time out here to talk about Mario Kart 8, where I'm playing Nocco, and I've got the max drift, max acceleration going with a little bit of speed, and me and him are just like absolutely kicking it. So whose kid is that? You shouldn't have taken him. Oh man, come on. He's my boy. Come on, Merlin. You guys are awesome in the comments. Thanks for being nice to him. So he's a good kid. And we actually started playing Pokemon as well. I got him some Pokemon trading card game in English, and we started playing the Pokemon trading card game, and we played like a psychic deck and a metal man. So there was like this metal crew, and then there's like the psychic crew. And I've never played Pokemon before, and I picked it up, and it's actually really good. But I've got some questions if there's any gurus out there about Pokemon. So if you guys know the card game really well, I've got some questions, like some things that the instruction manual doesn't explain that well. So it's about abilities, like can benched Pokemon use abilities while they're benched? And also, what about non-attack Pokemon abilities? Like, say for instance, they use up energy, that has to be the active Pokemon. That's my question. It's sort of a little bit weird there. Can't tell right off his... Okay, yeah, we got here 9010, $20 donation. Thank you, brother, but you didn't ask a question. Thank you so much for the donation. You didn't ask a question. And I'd love to answer a question if you got one. So, should I sell my old PC with an i7 7700K GTX 1070 on Facebook Marketplace or eBay? Your old PC, I would say sell it on Marketplace. Usually you're going to have a lot better luck. It's just going to be less hassle. And if it's got RGB and you get the photos right, you're going to have a great time on selling it. It's going to be super easy. So... My son plays Duel. Yeah, we play Duel Masters as well. Duel Masters is really good. Pokemon's a different flavor, so I'm actually liking these card games. I remember seeing him when he was a wee lad like 10 years ago. Is he with you in Oz permanently? So he came over with me for a holiday. Little B came over for a holiday. He really wanted to come to Australia with us, and his mum let him go. So that was actually really cool. That was nice of her. He really wanted to come over, and so he's over with me, and then we will be going back to Japan. He has to go back to school. But the good thing about him was we asked the teacher over in Japan if he could have a couple of months off school. And the teacher was like, look, he's acing his class. He's acing his tests. The kid's good to go. And I was like, wow, like, you know, he doesn't study that much. So it's the fish oil. And I'm telling you now, guys, it's the fish oil. If you got kids, pump them full of fish oil. They need their fish oil, man. That stuff is, there's no documented evidence. Like, there's no documented evidence on it, but fish oil's the goat. It's the goat for feeding your kids, making them good. Have you tried the One Piece TCG? No, haven't tried that. Trading card game? No. Dude, that's progress. Is he enjoying the parts hunt? Yeah, he did come on. He did come on with us with the parts hunt. And he's not that into PC yet. Like, he knows what a PC is. He plays Minecraft with the mouse and keyboard, but he hasn't really taken a liking to the hardware yet, which I really kind of want to push him into the hardware because, you know, I build a lot of PCs, so he's good. Kevin Burnell, thanks for the $4.99. And brothers, thank you so much, Kevin, as well, for sending me the $100 restaurant gift card. So that was so nice of you, brother. Thank you so much. That was one of the best Christmas. I mean, he's like, Kevin, if you guys didn't know, he's actually, I consider him a friend as well. And he sent me for Christmas a gift card for, like, I don't know how he knew, but like he knew my favorite like ribs restaurant on the Gold Coast that does ribs. And he sent me a gift card there to go eat. So thank you so much for the $4.99. And what's the background music? Is it Command & Conquer? No, it's just, I've got this 2-hour like relaxed beats thing that I throw up whenever I live stream. And the good thing about it is no one's complained about it. So, I mean, people might complain it's too loud, but no one said like, look, the background music sucks. So if you don't get a complaint, usually it's pretty good. How's the weed in Japan? I don't know, man. I've only tried it in the US and in Australia. Haven't tried any in Japan. It's like, it's forbidden in Japan, man. You get caught with that stuff, dude, you're looking at like some serious hardship there. So not baked beans, grapefruit, and green tea. No, he's not really into grapefruit. It's too sour for him. Green tea, he drinks green tea, of course. Green tea is like a staple in Japan. But baked beans, yeah, he hasn't really taken a liking to grapefruit or baked beans, which is baffling my mind because I absolutely love baked beans and green tea. So we get here. So confirmed, TYC man is actually my grandma in disguise / fish oils. There we go. Wait till teen years, Brian. He will. Okay, yeah, that's it. I'll wait till the teen years and he'll get into PC gaming. AMD throwing airballs and still raising prices. What the heck? What's the best GPU to upgrade for the Ryzen 5 3600? 6700 XT would be my go-to. Works fantastic if you got the right motherboard with smart access memory. That would be awesome to go with. What would be the best upgrade for my 5820K system with a GTX 1070 for $500? A 3870 CPU upgrade or what CPU? I'm not going to give you a proper answer for this one because I literally got a 5820K and I'm going to start testing it soon. So I will have that answer for you very soon, but I haven't tried a 5820K in a long time, but part of me still thinks if you overclock it to around 4.5 gigahertz, be a very capable card that will pair nicely with even, I would say if you're 1440p gaming, an RTX 2080 or something like that, which is also a pretty good GPU on the used market. Maybe even RTX 3060 Ti, seeing as some of those are really cheap. So hopefully that answers that question. We've got here, yeah, I'll be teaching him to flip PCs. That's it. How's it going, brothers? Yeah, I'm going really good, man. This has been 2022. I'm going to stop and just give it. 2022 was just such a better year for me than 2021 and 2020. Both 2021 and 2020, they sucked. I I don't usually talk about emotions here on the channel, but man, it was hard for me to get through those years, man. Like, it was 2020 and 2021 just sucked. 2022 was when everything started getting better, and now going into 2023, I ain't getting separated from my boy ever again. That's all you got to know. And it was too hard for me, man, too hard. So, but now the energy's flowing through. I'm loving life. Hopefully it's flowing through in the content, even though a lot of the content coming out now, especially with the new stuff, is just absolutely sucking because the value sucks. So I got to kind of bring a positive, negative spin to the tech world, if that makes any sense. Long time fan, love your content. Have you ever built a Hackintosh? Yes and no. I have, but I installed Windows on it. There's a video on the channel. What's your price cap for 3080s? 500 USD. That's my price cap. Max. That's what I'd be spending on one. When will Intel get into the high-end GPU market? They got the R&D cash to make it happen. They're taking too many gambles. I don't think they will get into the high-end GPU market just yet. They've really got some work to do, man. Arc was a wake-up call for them to say, this is the thing, and I've been saying this actually for a while. Nvidia, I said it, I think, on the last one of these live streams recently, if you guys tuned in. Nvidia didn't become complacent. They haven't become complacent. As opposed to Intel, from Sandy Bridge onwards, Intel became complacent. And I bet you they regret doing that now, in hindsight. I think Intel really regret letting AMD catch up with Ryzen. Nvidia doesn't let Radeon catch up, nor will I believe they will let Intel catch up in the GPU market. They don't become complacent. So that's one thing about Nvidia that even if you're a hater, you've got to give them credit for. They just go hard on the GPU market. Whether that, you know, of course they like to overcharge for things like the RTX 4080, but in terms of what they've got in terms of a polished product, they don't give up. They don't give any leeway. And that's one thing. That's how it should be. Like, in a proper free market capitalist society, that's what it should be. You should just keep going, keep giving people your best. Don't stop, don't stagnate and go into this crony capitalism place. Now, of course, my biggest gripe with the RTX 4080 and the pricing, and my biggest concern here, is that there's no sound money. Like, we've been further from sound money than we ever have in our lifetimes. In a lot of our lifetimes, we've been further from sound money. We've got to get back to sound money and holding people who spend recklessly accountable for their reckless spending. And a lot of people don't. Look at this Sam Bankman-Fried fella. Look at this guy. Absolutely, I've never seen even the person auditing the company, he came in and said, I've never seen such a reckless behavior from someone in a corporate world with money, especially client money. And look at the repercussions for this guy. He's flying on business class right now, absolutely making a mockery of the justice system in the US. And if it was in Australia, I'd be out protesting. I think it was absolutely disgusting what was happening there. But Nvidia's pricing, as a company, they're doing the right things as a well-oiled machine. But in terms of how they're pricing things up, the reason Nvidia gets away with the pricing that they're getting away with is because we don't have proper sound money. If we had proper sound money, those GPUs would be a lot cheaper, or they'd be a lot better value. So I got here a $10 donation from Master Bricks. Thank you. Is that got to do with Lego? If so, love the name, Mr. Bricks. I love Lego bricks, man. Actually, me and my son building Lego too. That's something I forgot to touch on. We got Star Wars Lego. We actually got the Statue of Liberty Lego for half price too, so we're going to build that soon. He says, bro, your channel is an inspiration. I'm getting back into flipping PCs in part thanks to your channel. Really dig your positivity, man. There's too much negative stuff online. Thanks. No worries, brother. Tune in. I'm always just going to keep it real. At the moment, unfortunately, like, positivity, that's why I go to the used stuff, because it's just nothing but positivity on the used market. And I think if you're flipping used PCs, you'll see that, right? Getting deals, I mean, getting hosed sucks, like, but it should rarely happen if you take proper protocol. If you take proper protocol, should never happen. But if you, or should rarely happen. Does happen though. You still get a hosing every now and then. But in terms of used parts, it's net positive, man. Complete net positive experience. So that's why I love the used market, because, you know, in these used videos I make as well, everyone's loving it, man. There's no fanboys. There's really only people who have got their heads screwed on and can critically think, and they're like, this is great value, this is awesome, loving the content. So that's why part of me, I love the used parts. Of course, like these guys, they want to send over their new stuff because basically, I think a lot of the review, like AMD and Intel and stuff like that, they want your opinions, and Nvidia, they want your opinions. For instance, I know Jensen watches my videos when I do Nvidia coverage. He loves watching it, and they really take those critiquing points to heart. So that's things that you learn every day. So it's crazy. Even as a smaller channel, it doesn't matter. Like a lot of these bigger people in these companies, they'll watch a lot of different opinions, and they'll know when people are talking sense. And so I'll try to keep talking sense as well for you guys. Don't worry about that. Will there be an upcoming Tech Yes video before 2022 ends? Yes, there will be. I'm going to try and get a parts hunt done. Tomorrow we got Christmas dinner. We're going to all get full bellies. But in terms of when I'll do the parts hunt, yeah, there'll be some. Hopefully I'll get something in for you guys, something juicy. So the universe, Adam Jensen from DSL. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it might be Adam Jensen that watches the videos. So Jensen listens to everything but lowering prices. Yeah, I mean, the thing was, they did reverse course on the 4080 12 gig, right? That was good. And I mean, it's funny, like recently I did some, like, is probably, I'd say it's negative coverage for the 7900 XT. I just call it the truth. But people are in the comments like, why didn't you slam Nvidia for their presentation? Well, I did. Like, there's a video on my channel slamming them for the 4080 12 gig. Like, that was, out of that presentation, that was the biggest load of crap that I smelt in that presentation. The 4080, I was waiting for that to come, gave that a review. It was kind of like a half slamming. I think Nvidia really missed the mark with the 4080 by not making mini ITX models. I'd say if they made like 2-slot coolers or 2.5-slot coolers that fit in a lot of mini ITX cases, the 4080 would actually be selling a lot better than it is. That's my thoughts on the 4080. Yeah, but Jensen might watch you, Brian, but he doesn't learn anything. Otherwise, Nvidia GPUs would be way better value. They will be getting better value, especially since tightening is happening now. And a lot of these companies know this. They know the money, the easy money has dropped off. There's no more stimmy checks coming in. They can't keep charging whatever they want. And there's going to be a harsh awakening for these companies in 2023. Don't worry about that. I've said that. Intel's already suffering quite a lot. AMD's going to start suffering a lot. And then Nvidia is also going to suffer as well. It's tightening money. Like, again, you're getting back. The more the Federal Reserve tightens, and the more people, like, the more this printed money doesn't come into existence, the sooner we get back to sound money. The sooner you get back to sound money, the sooner people look properly for price versus value. And the sooner everything gets better, innovation gets better, because suddenly people have the need to compete for your dollar much more than they've ever had to compete for it. So, but yeah, the 4090 is selling. I mean, Nvidia's Nvidia. They've got their own sort of almost like a monopoly on the GPU market. You'd call it at this, especially with the 7900 XTX not being a polished product. Now, if the 7900 XTX was a fully polished product, they would have. I think they'd have a much better chance of sort of not pumping up Nvidia's brand. But unfortunately, the 7900 XTX it wasn't the polished experience that it needed to be on day one. So that's an unfortunate thing about that. I'm hoping, like, again, my review on the 7900 XTX is going to be, here's all the problems. If you buy this card, you're basically a beta tester. Will it get better in 2 months? Don't know. We'll come back and visit it again because it is a new chiplet design. There could be some issues that are really ongoing with the 7900 XTX. But hello, just opened the live stream. Can somebody explain what happened in a nutshell? Yeah, maybe in chat. I mean, we've gone through a lot here, guys. We've gone through a lot of Q&A. We've gone through a lot of finance as well. We dug deep into that finance. You guys wanted to hear that finance stuff, and we dug deep into it in this live stream. And why I'm predicting a margin catastrophe, providing the central banks don't roll up the printers. That's, I think, due. And I also explained why I'm doing what I'm doing with my side cash. You know, guys, I'm telling you what I'm doing in my personal life. You'll hear a lot of these people, they just won't tell you anything. It's like, yeah, I'm buying this stock, I'm buying value stocks, or I'm buying these stocks. It's like, no, what actually are you buying? like what's your portfolio comprised of? What are all these gurus doing? And I tell you what the gurus are probably doing. They're probably buying up silver and not telling anyone. And then when silver starts to go crazy in price, then they'll tell you, hey, go buy silver while it's like $80 an ounce. And that's how they work. A lot of those filthy rich people. But I'm saying, look, silver's undervalued in my eyes. I love it. I've actually loved it for all of 2022. Great thing. I like the yen as well. I like the yen. I'm not sort of insecure or evasive to say that. I don't care. So war and fuel. Yeah, there's another one as well. So artificial as well, guys. So even if, and this is the problem now, so even though monetary conditions are getting even tighter, inflation still can be a persistent thing, especially if you've got governments choking off business with regulations. Don't forget that. And so yes, you could see new GPU prices go up, but I just think the amount of used GPUs is going to keep that in check. So a lot of people will be turning to the used market in 2023 than they've ever turned to the used market before. So yeah, X58's a hard one. Warzone 2 puts X58 in a difficult spot. So I'm kind of, when I sell X58 systems, they're usually really cheap. So you guys are talking about X58, but at the moment, I usually sell them really cheap because the problem with them is that the CPUs don't run the latest Warzone 2, which is free to play, right? It's free to play on Steam, and people want to play it. And you can actually play it with like an RX 480, a really cheap GPU. Even a GTX 970 will do the job. So there's that. So when you sell budget PCs, I usually like, yeah, Roblox, Fortnite, i7 920, i7 950, X58, because yeah, so unfortunately the X58's on the way out. X79 though, X79's still really good. So 3080s in Japan are about 70. What is going on in Japan actually? While we're on live stream, we can check for you guys. If you got any more pressing questions, do tune in, because I'm going to be going and playing some. Minecraft. Yeah, so I've got some silver and platinum in a vault. So do you hold physical? So yeah, physical is the way to go. So that's where I hold it. I hold it in a vault, brothers. And we'll go over now to quickly check out what's happening in the land of GP. So here we go now. Let's go over to kakaku.com. Let's check out, actually, people are speaking of Japan. Let's check out what's some market insight we can get on live here. So we'll see what the most popular GPU. What do you think the most popular, I'm going to ask you in chat, what do you guys think the most popular GPU in Japan is at the moment in terms of selling? I'm probably going to lean towards an RTX 3060. I just think that 12 gigabyte marketing is too powerful. We'll check it out anyway. What's the most popular GPU selling in Japan right now? Then we'll go over to CPUs. Okay, so we've got the ranking. Let's pull up the ranking here. People ask me about Kakaku. Like, how do you check Kakaku? Well, you just go to the rankings. Okay, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. 3060 Ti. I was wrong. 3060 Ti. The 7900 XTX, number 2 in Japan. Wow, the XTs are selling over there. Guess the Japanese, like, they've been receptive to AMD's launch day. Okay, so that's interesting. The XT is selling quite well in Japan. That's actually fascinating. The 3060 Ti, 3060, I mean, yeah, 3060 Ti. The Japanese are pretty smart consumers. And then you got the XTX. Well, I don't know if they're that smart buying the XT. So I guess they didn't get the memo about being beta testers. Then the RTX 4090. Wow, that's expensive. Why are you buying that card for that price? 7900 XTX. Okay, AMD's like topping some charts here. Like, they've got some GPUs in the top 10. That's good to see. AMD's, hey, news for Christmas. AMD's selling pretty well. Nvidia fanboys in Japan are on holidays, guys. They have gone on holidays. So we can check back in the next live stream what has happened here. But we've got MT Coiner. Thank you for the subscription for 3 months, brother. So there we go. In terms of sales, they don't give you sales data. They just give you the most popular. Like, that'd be on their back end. They wouldn't want people knowing that data. So the 3060 Ti is currently most popular. Let's check out CPUs though. What do we got in terms of Ryzen 7000? We can see what's the most popular CPU going on in Japan right now. Oh, sorry, I got to put in a CPU model. And Merry Christmas, everyone. Hopefully you're going to have an awesome Christmas this year. So 7950X, okay. That's the best, I guess that's the best 7000 series CPU, or we'll find out. My internet's so slow, so if something cuts out, I think I can't even pull up the ranking button because this website's being very slow right now. Okay, a 5700X is the most popular CPU in Japan right now, followed by the 13900K. Actually, wow. For Japan, that's not a bad price for the 13900K. Usually with tax, I mean, that's with 10% tax, that's not too bad of a deal. Like if you took away 10% tax off that price, that would be like what, 7,800 yen to USD. Let's have a look. We got a little sheet up here. Let's see if we can pull up what we got this prices for here. So it'd be about 7-8 yen to USD. Let's have a look. So 580 USD. Okay, like for Japan, that's not too bad. So we got number 1 and 2, Ryzen, and these guys are bumping heads. AMD, top 5 CPUs. We can go to the top. So there's the top 20 CPUs right there. So interesting to see that AMD and Nvidia are trading blows right now in Japan. So as it should be. That, you know what that means right there? If you just look at that in a whole, like just in a whole picture, that means CPU prices are pretty good right now. That's what that means, right? If you've got AMD and Nvidia, Intel and Nvidia trading blows in the top 10, right there, like that picture, that means value's pretty good. So that's a good thing to see. So see, it's a good time to buy a CPU, basically, especially if 5700X is a really good deal for that price. That's like under $200 for an 8-core 16 thread. So yeah, great little CPU. You guys are saying in chat, well, in Japan, it's the exact same thing. And it's the #1 selling CPU. So there you have it. Easy. And then the APU, that would be like $140, I think. So 5600G APU build. So I might have to do a video with that. That's actually really good. So is the RX 5700 the new RX 580? Yeah, maybe on the used market. I've heard there's the RX 6700 as well. You may wish to check this out. Oh, sorry, I put in too many digits. In Australia, this GPU is for sale and it's around $300 US. It's not up for sale in okay. It's not actually up for sale in Japan. Interesting. So it's the non-XT. It's the non-XT, and I saw this one and I was like, wow, I've actually got to check this GPU out because this is a really good price. Pulse model. Okay, it looks like it's gone up. I remember I saw it for 449. I saw it for 449. It's now 479. So it's brand new. If you're into a brand new GPU right now, you may wish to check this GPU out. The RX 6700 non-XT. It's like, I can tell you right now, it's going to be better than a 6650 XT, and it's going to be a little bit slower than a RX 6700 XT. So what? Okay, well, it's overpriced on Newegg. That's no surprise, $540. I mean, in Australia, let's have a look what it is in Australia. Oh, there it is, $330. Okay, that's not a bad price. And apparently you get 50. Wow, okay. I was in the back of my head. I was like, wow, if you guys are into new prices right now, if you guys are going for new GPUs right now, $330 plus $15 off with a promo. So you can get that for $315 for a very solid 1440p gaming GPU. So that's actually insane. That's really good. So there's your new, like, I would say that's your new meta GPU for new value on the market right now. That's really good. In terms of Amazon, I wanted to check Amazon pricing because, sorry, RX 60. I wish there was like an RX 670 that came out and it was on the used market. $320. Wow, this GPU is a bargain. Okay, there it is, ready, in stock. So, wow, okay, I've got to order one of these in and do some testing because, like, literally no one's talking about this, but this is like insanely good if you want to buy a new GPU. I understand used prices is not for everyone. People are usually like, Brian, used prices, I'm not into the used market. I want my brand new GPU with that brand new shiny warranty. If anything goes wrong, if there's a fingerprint on the GPU as soon as I pull it out of the box, I want a refund. There you go, you can get it on Amazon for $320. So we got Hardware Talk NZ. Thank you. Welcome to Behind the Scenes Support. Thank you for subscribing, my man. you have gained yourself a little icon next to your name with a thumbs up. Booyah. There it is, 365 USD. I paid for. That's pretty good. 6750 XT. But I found between the 6750 XT and the 6700 XT when I did my test, there was like literally no difference between the two cards. I think they just ramped up the memory speeds on the 67050 XT. 6750 XT. That was painful. I don't know. Single cycle RX 570s for $40 is banging. Yeah, if you can find them, Kev. If you can find them, the single cycles. I mean, if you go to buy a used RX 570 and you're gonna, hey man, did you mine on this? And they'll be like, yeah. And you're like, how many cycles? They'll be like, oh, I just won, man. I just mined for a few months. That's like every crypto miner tells me, I mined on this GPU for only a few months. And then you pull it apart to clean it and you're like, oh no. You can clearly tell this thing had been mined on for years. So sometimes you come into that. But ultimately though, it comes down to the miner. And this is the most important thing. And actually this is where we'll segue into the, I guess the final part of the stream, where we got AliExpress sellers selling 3060 Ti's shipped worldwide for $330. Now, make no mistake about it, these have been on mining benches. They have been used for crypto mining. They say the graphics card is used. But if they took good care of the graphics card and it was run at low power consumption, low temperatures, it would be, it's a decent deal for people who are getting ripped off internationally. And I see people constantly telling me about these bad prices. I'm in Europe, I'm in Scandinavia, and an RTX 3060 Ti is 600 euro. And it's like, bro, just message this AliExpress seller. Tell him, look, man, can you send it to me as a gift? And a lot of them will be happy to do that for you. And so you'll get it in and you'll have a really good deal on your hands. So snagged a used RTX 3080 12 gig for $450 from a good friend. That's actually pretty good because the 12 gig models I find usually go for a little bit more. If a used GPU has a water block on them, is it a decent buy then? It depends on the price. I personally hate having water blocks on cards. A lot of people ask me, Brian, you want to buy my GPU? It's got a water block on. I'm like, I'd rather just have the cooler, the standard cooler on it, because I'm not going to build a custom rig to flip this PC. So yeah, I personally don't like it. Trying to resell a used water block is next to impossible. No one wants to buy a used water block. So like a lot of people will just give me the water block too. They have the original cooler. They'll put the original cooler back on the GPU. And then they'll just give me the water block anyway. And that's happened like every time I bought a water-cooled GPU off someone with a custom water block. That's exactly what's happened. And I've bought quite a few. So RX 6800 for $257. Good deals. You guys know how to look for the deals. RX 5600 XT for $125. Average on eBay is absolute ecstasy for price to performance junkies. Yeah, the RX 5600 XT gone through one season of mining. Not too bad of a deal. I like the, yeah, the 60, that's one thing I should have pulled up earlier as well, is the 56, there's also, isn't there the non-XT as well, maybe? I think it was the 5700, yeah, they had non-XTs as well. How funny is that? I never actually tested the non-XT 5600, and neither the the 5700 I did. But these are great deals, like these are going for $91 for a 5600 XT. So, if you broaden the horizon in terms of what GPU you're after, and you can really pick up some good deals. So this is as is. You got to be careful not to buy the ones that are busted because you're probably not going to do anything with them. Unless you got mad skills on the soldering iron, which I don't. Okay, 5700. Yeah, 5700's a good too. Don't look past any good deal on a GPU. Don't look past any really good deal. So that's what it's all about, picking up the really good deals, and away you go. So anyway, guys, we're going to wind this stream down for Christmas Eve. Also, we've got, before we get on out of here, we've got the longtime sponsor of the channel. We've got here VIP STD keys. Get that Windows 10 key. I'll put the link in the description below, and you can apply that. So you just pull up the link in the description below. You can get Office as well. Windows 11 key, but get the Windows 10. It works on Windows 11 as well. Hit that BFTYC coupon. Bang that in and you'll get a massive discount. It did go up $1. I do apologize for that. It went up $1. We had the Black Friday sales going on there for $14, but it's gone for $15, but $15 you get Windows activated, and it is lifetime. I've never had any problems with these keys. So that's awesome. And yeah, you can get activated today, brothers, with a Windows 10 key. So if you've got some last minute pressing questions as well, do ask them. I don't want to leave anyone high and dry. Usually when I finish the live stream, there's always one person like, Brian, you didn't answer my question. So if you've got that pressing question, do drop it in the comment section now, and I won't leave you high and dry. I promise. So I'll wait around a little bit because I know there's always that one person like, Brian, really got to answer that question. If you got it, drop it now. So GTX 1080 for 170 USD. Fair. It's fair game. Yeah, it's fair game. I mean, I'm careful with 10 series cards too. So that's fair game. That's what I'm going to say with that one. Not the best deal I've seen, but yeah, fair game. Yeah, like they gave me the BF TYC, like it was the big, you know, F and TYC. That's why the code came out before Black Friday years ago, and it originally used to just be code TYC. And I'm like, guys, I told them, I'm like, my viewers want a discount, right? If you're putting your whatever it is, anytime I take a sponsorship or anything like that, I'm always like, look, if I'm doing this sponsorship, my viewers have to get a code or something. They have to get some kind of a discount. And then they're giving me this regular discount. I'm like, no, I need a bigger discount. So we made the code BFTYC. And then that was the one that came into existence. And there it is. So, all right, pressing question. For which price should I sell R9 270X? Oh, man. 270X is brutal, dude. You'd be lucky, like, locally here, I wouldn't even pay, like, 30 Aussie dollars for one, dude. So that'd be like 20 bucks USD. It's probably not the price you want to hear, but damn, man, I mean, the 270X is brutal right now. Brian, Taiwan, Marco, Taiwan, Scrapyard Wars or Aussie Scrapyard Wars? Oh, we'll do Taiwan. We'll have to do Taiwan, but you've got to show me those places again, Marco. So if we do Scrapyard Wars in Taiwan, because if next year, if Computex is on, hopefully nothing happens and there's no, like, you know, the world shuts down again. If it doesn't, we'll be going to Taiwan. If we do, we pick out all the same locations and then we have a war. Who can provide the best value used PC in Taiwan? And I'll challenge Marco to that. And we'll do a video for you guys and see what Marco can come up with, see what Tech Yes can come up with. And we do it on a random day too, so you can't organize any deals with your mates. And yeah, we'll do it in Taiwan, because if you come to Australia, bro, like, I'm not gonna bloat, but like, you know, I know the Aussie markets really well, and I know the lingo here, so it'll be too much of a home advantage, I think. So we'll do it in Taiwan. I'll give you the home advantage, man. Hey, man, Kristopher Yee wanted to challenge me years ago, and I'm like, yeah, bro, let's do it in your country. And I did the PC build off with Yee, and he got destroyed. Like, price performance, I mean, you know, in his hometown, that was Kristopher Yee. So since then, he became a Twitch streamer. So maybe the beat was that. Maybe the beat might have been too bad for him to cop, so he got out of PC Tech. But I love Chris Yee. I've got to actually hook up with Mr. Yee again, see if he wants to do something, some kind of collab. I hope he got, like, lately he made a few videos on PC gaming, and I want him to get back into that. I really enjoyed his content. So the Real Tech Geek, he asked, Merry Christmas, Brian. What do you think of the Bank of Japan raising interest rates by 0.5%? They actually raised them, I think it was like 0.25%. And so the Bank of Japan raised the bond rates. They let it go out. Now, the banks will naturally have to pass that on. So interest rates could go up in Japan, right? And so, yeah, it's a big news for Japan that has never traditionally raised rates in any way, shape, or form. And we spoke about this earlier in the podcast, but what they're doing, the real reason I think they're doing this is to, again, put pressure off FTX, foreign exchange traders, to stop loading up on the yen USD trade. And that got a huge amount of pressure early in the year. That was like it was the new Bitcoin coming into existence. Everyone loaded up on the carry trade. Now, the problem is if banks start going bankrupt and there's no collateral there on the backbone of those trades, you can see the yen suddenly reverse course very, very quickly. Is it okay if I keep leaving messages on your Discord? Oh, yeah, sorry, dude. Sorry, Josh. Yeah, oh, man, I'm going to get on to you now that I've got some holidays, brother. I will get on. I will look after you. I will fix you up, man. Sorry about that. Oh, my God. It's like a year running now for me to help out poor Josh. Sorry, brother. I will get onto that. Paid 170 USD for an RX 6600 used in June. Should be even lower now. But that's what I mean. You've got all that time with that RX 6600 gaming, and you maybe lost at worst. You can pick up an RX 6600 for maybe 150 USD. So it's like 20 bucks. And you've been gaming for 6 months. So absolute win with the RX 6600. There was very little to lose on that graphics card, and there's still very little to lose on it. So that's why it's one of my favorite picks. And in fact, I think it'll go up in price in another year once all these crypto GPUs come out of existence. Do I need to upgrade? And so if you're asking the question of, do I need to upgrade? Then most likely you don't need to upgrade. That's always my thought with people asking about upgrades is, if you don't need to, if you're asking the question of, do I need to upgrade? You most likely don't need to upgrade, brother. So just be like, yeah. I mean, I play Dota 2. I don't need to, like, that's the thing, right? With my hardware, I play Dota 2. I don't need the latest and greatest stuff because I play Dota 2. That's the main game I play. Turbo mode, brothers. Turbo's where it's at. I also play a bit of Apex Legends. Again, not the most demanding game. Oh, actually, speaking of that too, Nvidia drivers, if you've got an OLED now, 4K OLED, you can now, with the latest Nvidia drivers, you can now overclock your OLED C1, C2, I believe, C9, CX, and B models. You can overclock them about at least a good 10%. I got 132 Hertz out of my 120 Hertz here. And that was surprising because traditionally LG locked out the OLEDs from overclocking, but now you can overclock those 4K OLEDs. So it must have been with the recent GQ900 that they released that had 138 Hertz on it. They must have worked with Nvidia, especially Nvidia, to unlock the refresh rate because it's G-Sync compatible. Now I tried it on the 7900 XTX, wouldn't lock in it just stayed at 120 Hertz. So if you're on an Nvidia card and you're on a 4K OLED, you can overclock that OLED. So that's some really good news. $10 from Agent Works. Thanks, brother. I just want to say thank you for everything. Keep on awesome work. Thanks, brother. Thanks for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's why I really wanted to get through these last minute questions and just help you guys out. So that was the main purpose, is just chat. I've also got to do a video on a lot of Ryzen questions. When I made a video on the 5800 X3D, I got flooded with questions to the point where I was like, wow, I can't answer all these. I might as well just make a dedicated video answering these questions because there are probably a lot of questions that people are going to have recurring, so I can just link them to a video. I use 5900X for $297 or new for 350 USD. I mean, see, this is the thing where you're like, I would just ask the guy for a bit of a discount, or is that just the price anyway? If it still has warranty, the 5900X, I mean, I'd go for used, but I wouldn't entertain that price because it's so close to new. So it's like, for me, I'd just be like, no, I'm going to wait for the used one for 250 bucks. Have you seen Yee's girlfriend? No, I haven't. I haven't seen her. Let's just see if we can go up on stream quickly. What's Kristopher Yee's girl? Now Kristopher Yee's suddenly back in the limelight. Let's go. Kristopher Yee's girlfriend. Kristopher Yee's girlfriend. That's it. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, here she is here. Look at that, in the garden. I think, yeah, sorry guys, my internet might be playing. My internet's slow in Australia, right? This is Australian internet for you, okay? But I don't, hopefully the upload doesn't like go crazy now. Uh-oh. So if I don't know. We just got Kristopher Yee's girlfriend in the there we go. I mean, look, yeah, like Kristopher Yee's girlfriend, she looks alright, you know, that's what we pulled up. That's not even Kristopher Yee's girlfriend. I'm just trolling you guys. Oh man. There we go, guys. You're getting it on a live stream, having a bit of fun before we get on out of here. So there we go. Kristopher Yee's girlfriend, Ciara Hart. That's it. So good on you, Chris. Awesome girlfriend, man. So that's an awesome girlfriend, brother. You've done well for yourself. She looks happy. So there we go. That's why I turbo Dota 2 now. Yeah, you guys are getting on it, eh? Turbo Dota 2. So, wait, really? Yeah, no, this isn't Kristopher Yu's girlfriend. I pull up a Google search, nothing came up. So that's as best as you get from me. If you have to ask, do I need to update? The answer is no. Yeah, quote of the day. Yeah, thanks for the, 191 Desperado. Thanks for the 499, brother. Exactly. Happy holidays. And happy holidays to you too, man. Merry Christmas. Anywhere around the world. That's it. Do I need to update? That's it. No, that's the question. And there's an age-old saying in Australia that comes from this. It's like, if something is not broke, don't fix it. And that is so true. Like, the sad thing is with that saying is you'll learn the hard way about that one. Like, you have to learn the hard way. If something's not broke, don't fix it. And so, you know, that's why at the moment when I do video editing, Yusuf's always telling me, like, Brian, you got to use DaVinci Resolve. I'm like, look, dude, Premiere Pro is actually working pretty well for me right now. I don't need to... Everything's working fine. I don't need to change. I don't need to do anything. Videos are coming out good. People aren't complaining. And that's all that matters. So, is AU Focus using L3 engine? Not sure what we mean there. What is your Dota medal? I don't know. Like, I stopped playing ranked ages ago, brother. I stopped playing ranked when it became too, like, toxic. And I just went to turbo. It was so much fun. So... I don't know, like I used to be like 4,500 on the traditional rating. I did, yeah, 4,500, it was around 4,500 on the traditional. And then I just stopped playing ranked because it just got too much. It's like, why didn't you put a ward there, bro? Why didn't you put a ward there? You lost the game. It's like, no, you just sucked, so you lost the game. And then people just blaming each other all the time when someone loses. Does Dota 2 Turbo have a BOV? I don't know. There's a lot of turbo players now, man. Turbo's on the rise, dude. Yeah, Dota 2 Turbo is where it's at. I got 3 OLEDs, 0 burn in game daily. Yeah, OLED, the newer ones are really good. From the C9 and upwards, you can have no problems. OLED have awful screen burn issues. I wouldn't game on them. I regret buying one. I have had no burn-in issues on mine. I use them, like, in Japan, I was using that one. I was using this one I'm on now. I've used it, like, before I went to Japan, I was using this one, like, religiously. And I had no burn-in whatsoever. You've got to put the maximum energy savings to at least medium. If you don't do that, yeah, you'll get burn-in. Burn-in just comes from too high a brightness. That's all it comes from. So, yeah. Anyhow, here's GPU enthusiast buy cancel. Never buy new at intro. Don't get ripped off. Always buy ending gen at run end clearance sale, not to get ripped off. Always buy used. That's mine. Like, I just buy used. And then I flip PCs and you can make yourself the profit to get a free GPU. That's what I'm trying to, that's the biggest thing of Tech Yes City, is trying to teach the person in their local town to become the local street hustler on PCs, whether you're doing PC repairs, but you know, always have a few PCs up for sale, have those Venus flytraps ready to go. You know what I mean? So you always want the Venus flytrap ready. RGB, lights, you know, high VRAM in there. I mean, you're not ripping people off, but you're creating better value than retail stores. You're creating better value than eBay sellers and all that stuff. You just got your corner block, and then you're making your profit, and you're providing a good service. And that's what I've always trying to tell people. And you can have all the nice stuff, man. You're in tech. And this is the thing. Haven't crashed once. You can't say the same. Okay, yeah, okay. Yusuf's in chat. He's come out of chat now. So Yusuf's in chat. Yeah, true. Premiere Pro does have the occasional crash. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. It does. And so, C. Anderson, thanks for coming to TYC supporter, brother. We got another live stream coming up later on in the month. I'll probably do it like New Year's Eve before we go partying. That'll be all. It's always good to have a live stream. Go out partying. You're feeling good, right? You got all the news off your chest. Everyone's talked about the stuff they need to talk about in enthusiast tech. We've talked about the real issues here, like banks going bankrupt in 2023, and we're ready to rock and roll. So there we go. Anyhow, guys, we are. We've got one more question. Have you seen a Corsair 380T old funny PC case? Yeah, I used to have one. I think I did. Wasn't that the one we did Jarjar in, or 780T? But yeah, Corsair, the Air 540 was Corsair's best case. And it still is to date, in my opinion, the best case they've ever made. They went too fancy on tempered glass, and a lot of their cases just looked out of place. Some of their newer cases are really nice, but they're way too expensive. Way too expensive. New Year's or Boxing Day? New Year's Eve, man. We'll do a New Year's Eve stream. Yeah, speaking of Yusuf, man, you gotta you gotta get on it, boy. Yeah, we'll just live stream. Jarjar's gonna tell you, get it done, please. Hey, Yusuf, please finish my video. Yeah, thank you. Was that a good Jarjar? Let us know in the comments, guys. I thought I was like, yeah, that's actually not a bad Jarjar. We'll be going on with this one. That wasn't too bad of a Jarjar. I thought, like, sometimes you can get a Jarjar just right, or you can completely flop on your Jarjar. So, best used GPU for $200. Yeah, RX 6600. Save your money. So that's my way to go. RX 6600 is just, you can get them for like $150. Okay, there we go. We got the Jarjar feedback coming in. So it's uploading right now. 45-minute Windows 11 optimization guide. There's another banger. There we go. Good Jarjar. All right, guys. You watch Andor yet? No, actually, yeah. You guys have been telling me I got to watch Andor. I'll watch that. I will get onto that. Actually, yeah, I got to get onto Mario Kart 8 right now, brothers. So questions have dropped off, and overclock those 4K OLEDs if you're on an Nvidia card. The LGs, they're good to go right now. Yep, and Marco, yeah, under $200. RX 6600 is my favorite pick. Save the, like, don't even have to spend $200. Get it for 130 or 140 or off AliExpress for 170, and just save the $30 or save the $50. Does the RX 6600 beat the RX 5700? The non-XT, yes. I think it sort of comes similar to the XT if I off the calculations in the brain. And the OLED go brr. That's it. The OLED does go brr. It's printing infinite resolution. Thoughts on a used 6900 XT for 600 US? Not bad. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Depends if you really want it. Yeah, I'd say it's not too bad. Check out the condition. If you can check out the condition and it presents pretty well, it's not going to be too bad of a deal. So I'd rather a 6000 series GPU than a 7000 series GPU, especially the drivers right now on 7000 series. Lots of issues. That's all I'm going to say. And I wouldn't want to like game on that. I'd rather, like, even for my main rig, I'd be using, if I had to use an AMD GPU, I'd use an RX 6800 XT or an RX 6900 XT over a 7900 XTX right now, just because it's more reliable. George Lucas is trying to reach you about that Jarjar. Exactly, man. Jarjar is so underrated. Oh, have you got the DLC maps for Mario Kart? Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah. I do have the. Well, we actually got to sign up. We got to sign up to Nintendo Online and get the DLC for Mario Kart. So, yeah, look, I usually don't do DLC, but Mario Kart 8, I will do DLC. I love Mario Kart 8, and I'm a PC guy who plays Dota 2 and Apex Legends. But Mario Kart 8 is where it's at. It's Nintendo's greatest game of all time. In terms of like party games and games you can have fun with your friends with. A 7000 series GPU is that bad in terms of performance? No, they're not bad. Performance is good. The performance is really good. It's just the, well, not really good, sorry. The performance is good, but it's, for me personally, like the 30 to 40%, this is where I thought the performance would come in at. But what's done it for me with the 7900 XTX is not a polished experience at all. It's a buggy experience, especially if you're like me and you're making content, doing streaming, recording videos, trying to undervolt. It's such a wonky is the word to use right now for the 7900 XTX, coupled with the fact that the XTXs have gone up $200 US now. So they're $1,200. So that's my problem with the RX 7000 series. It's not just the performance itself. The performance itself was quite decent. It was everything else for me that let it down. The cooler's actually really good too. So that's it. Anyhow, that's about it, guys. We are going to close on up this live streamity dum-dum, and I hope you guys enjoyed it wherever you are in the world, because the questions are dropping off, and I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing Christmas tomorrow. Not even a Merry Christmas, like just drinking beer, whatever you do. Have an awesome Christmas. Stay safe. Stay humble, brothers, and just, yeah, and spread the word, you know, spread the word about being positive. That's it. So, not COVID positive, of course. So, anyway, we'll Misa think you should get out of here now, Brian.
Misa think the live stream is going to go over. Okay. I'll catch you guys later. Please don't forget to hit the like button. And also, Misa think you should drop a comment and subscribe and ring the bell to Tech Yeah City if you haven't already.
Alright guys, I'll catch you in another Tech Yeah City video very soon. And we'll take care and have a Merry Christmas. And it's a good season. BFTYC. Make sure you cop that in the description below too. Peace out for now, guys. Love each and every one of you. Peace out for now. Bye. Yeah, the A7S III as well. This Sony camera is really good. Autofocus is on point. Look at that with Jarjar straight away. Wait, when your eyes aren't. Yeah, because it's got eye autofocus. So it's got the it's locked onto Jarjar's eyes now.
Hello, everybody. Misa don't know why you hate me. Why do you hate me? I'm just a character.